All right. Greetings. Welcome back to Blackbear News, where everything is connected and the viewers are smarter than the average bear. We're live on YouTube, Rockfin, and on Twitter. Give me a second. I have to turn off this fan that's going. Not supposed to be going, so give me one moment, guys. It's always good to just have a fan blowing into the back of a couch. Always helpful. So what's up? Greetings. Bella's here. Something's in the water. Got some folks on the Rockfins. Some folks on the Twitter. We're live on all those channels. All right. Well, let's just get on into it. So this is one of the reasons why I feel like it's a little silly when people say, I mean, maybe it's happening. Sure, I don't know. Whoop, hold on 1 second here. When people say that there is a demolition of I don't know, the economy or what's going, I mean, I don't know. I just don't see that being true, because every indication is that they're going to keep on making stuff. And, all the plans are for more investment in oil, more airplanes, more everything, really. That's the big plan on the planet Earth is that the plan is for more of everything. Guys, I am being like incredibly suppressed, and it's weird. Some days it's weirder than others. So I know you guys think that I'm complaining, but it's just very frustrating. So I ask you to please like the video if you're watching it. Give it a thumbs up, share, comment, whatever. But yes, I mean, I am really, really being suppressed very heavily. Someone don't like what I got to say. But it's good to see y'all here. Judy Truitt says, yeah, but the planes are now falling apart. Yeah. I mean, I think that what we have is runaway corruption. We're going backwards in time, in the not good way, right? Like, it would be nice if we could go backwards in time and people could just grow their own food, and we could do that willingly and willingly get people to do things based on information, right? And a common sense of care and community and well-being, right? Things based on compassion and, stuff like that. It'd be nice if we can get but what's happening is that we're basically slowly going backwards in time towards a gilded age where corruption is rampant. All the things that were put in place long ago, decades ago, the things that were put in place to tamp down on corruption, or at least hold it at bay. Um, things like rules against monopolies, um, things like rules against propagandizing your own people, stuff like that. Um, there are banking rules, there are constitutional rules that are being overturned, chipped away at. So we're going backward in time to a time when there were less rules, right? And this is what the intention is behind the deregulation of everything. And I get it. I get that people want freedom, and I get that some regulations can just be absolutely nonsensical. Right? There are some laws that are good and just laws, and there are some laws that are absolutely ridiculous and just serve those in power. And the same goes for what are regulations but laws? Regulations, some of them are helpful to people. Some of them are more helpful to the people in power. But I mean, it's very evident, it's super clear, crystal clear over the last several decades that the regulations and laws that are put in place to protect people have all been slowly eaten away, chipped away at. And the laws put in place to protect those in power, or done away with to protect those in power, that those are growing in size and ferocity. So yeah, they're going ahead with the business as usual, the economy as usual, but like there's just so much corruption going on. The reason why the planes are falling apart, the reason why the planes are falling apart is because, well, lacks oversight, lacks safety oversight, and skirting of union participation in the making of the planes, right? So the planes are being built in South Carolina where they can use non-union labor, and part of the benefit of having unions is that they actually prefer to have safety checks in for the people that are working and for the things that they're making, right? The unions are also part of overseeing what is going on in the production of planes or whatever it is. We have trains, blowing up, derailing every day. Why is that? Because of lax oversight. And it's the lack of oversight, and the lax oversight is to benefit and increase in profits. And this is what, this is why we're heading back towards a Gilded Age. The rich have ever so much money than they've ever had before, ever so much more money. The poor are getting poorer. The safety nets are being shredded. This is what you get with deregulation, guys. When there's no oversight. And part of that oversight is the people themselves. Like we have to be part of that oversight. And part of that oversight involves raising your voices when something is wrong, or trying to exert pressure on the powers that be when something is wrong. That's part of the oversight. That's part of the process. You are part of the process. We are all part of the process. Anyways. Well, what's up, good people? Deline, Bella, Judy, I see you. Salt Lakers. Salt Lakers have been around for a long time, right? You've been watching this show forever. Joseph Wood, what's going on Rockfin? William Moy. Joseph Wood asks, can evil be defined as ignorant, stupid, and or selfish? Maybe. It's funny because I think when you say somebody is ignorant, in a way it absolves them of accountability, right? And that's all good and well, but it's, but and you can maybe use that as an excuse against accountability, but if you're ignorant, I mean, eventually it just comes. It's something that hurts you, right? Your own ignorance or your lack of awareness around something is something that you know it only benefits you in a short term, right? If you just throw your hand up, say, "No, I didn't know any better," and that's fine. Sometimes people don't know any better. I've been very ignorant in my life, but eventually you get tired of being ignorant. You get tired of being the asshat or doing things wrong or making mistakes or screwing up. You get tired of it, and so you want to do better. And the only way to do better is to raise the vibrations. You know what I'm saying? It is the human condition on some level, Salt Lakers. Yeah. I don't know. Do you think we're going to evolve our way out of this? Denver says complacency is complicity. Now there's a quote. I think I think I think quotes are very important in life. Good or quotes are good little touchstones, good little bits of wisdom. That's a good one. Complacency is complicity. I don't know. And I wonder if all of our intelligence is just hubris sometimes. What's the other quote? What's the quote about intelligence without wisdom is something something? I don't know what the end of that one is. Anybody? Anybody? Anybody know that one? Intelligence without wisdom is something. How about that? Is something. Chad Miano says quotes the original meme. Yeah. I have so much wisdom that I can't even remember the quote I was trying to quote. Or so much intelligence. Let's look it up. Let's look it up, shall we? Oops. I don't know if I can even. Oh, I can't find the quote. Oh, here it is. Intelligence without wisdom is nothing more than stupidity that looks smart. Is that the one I was looking for? Stupidity that looks smart. I don't know if that was it. Do you all agree with that? Here's another one. Intelligence without wisdom brings destruction. Ooh. Intelligence without wisdom brings destruction. Bam. That's a good one. Well, I'm seeing. Let's see. Intelligence without wisdom is nothing more than stupidity that looks smart. That's interesting. I think I like that one. Joseph says intelligence, the ability and willingness to defy nature and act in one's own interest, regardless of or without consideration of long term effects upon other life. Maybe. All right. All right. Well, let's look at this. Canada just completed an oil pipeline to the British Columbia coast, to the BC coast. Now, one oil tanker per day will head into the world from the Salish Sea. Even with all we know in the year 2024, pretty sure we're not going to make it. So it's kind of, just another article, another news article, another fact, more evidence that we're not planning on, cutting out the oil, at least. I mean, they say that we're gonna lock everybody down because of climate change, but I don't know how that would work. If you lock everybody down for climate change, then you have no economy. If you have no economy, everybody goes out of business. Right? During COVID, when they locked everybody down, it was actually great for the planet Earth. Not so great for humans on some level. For some people, other people, I quite enjoyed not having the madness of people just being like out doing shit all the time. I enjoyed having that like quieted down to a dull roar. And I did think, oh, and you might be like, oh my God, how dare you say this? I did think during COVID that I was like, well, hey, this is if this looks like a path to net zero or a path to less emissions or less destruction from humans on the planet, this might be what it looks like. Not necessarily in forcing people to stay indoors or not have a job or not work, but like, hey, everybody, you can work from home. Hey, how about homeschool? Hey, right? All these things that are actually not so bad. Right? Far fewer cars on the road. You don't need to go into work every day. It's all good. It's just not really necessary, and it isn't. It isn't. People stayed at home. They walked, they were out talking to their neighbors, walking their dogs, taking hikes. Like people were doing things that were like healthy. The environment bounced back a little bit. I mean, hey. Yeah, I know that's actually where I heard I mean, I hear lots of people, there's a particular group of alternative journalists that they all mimic the same view on climate change and all of that. Right? So it's like it's no different from other people, but yeah. Right. COVID style lockdowns for climate emergency. But let me tell you how that's not going to happen. It's because, I mean, it wouldn't be a bad idea, especially if, listen, they got everybody to go along with lockdowns in COVID because Man, I feel like I'm just repeating myself, and I'm sorry. They got everybody to go along with lockdowns during COVID because they all communicated the same thing to everybody. They're like, hey, there's this thing, it's a pandemic, it's really dangerous. Everybody, we're worried about you for safety. And everybody was like, hey, okay, sure. I'll go along. Sure, a lot of people were like, what? No, this is bullshit. I'm not doing this shit. Like, a lot of people were, I was probably in that camp a little bit, but I was also kind of like, really? Oh, we could stay at home and chill out and not have to actually like get out and run around in the rat race every day. I'm okay, sure. I'll go along with that one. Um Anyways, they got everybody to go along with it because they communicated, right? And you know, 70% of people think that we need action on climate change. Now, what action that is, what action it is that people think that we should take, there's probably a wide array of views on that. But if they communicated, hey, climate emergency, and let's not say COVID style lockdowns, but climate emergency. Hey guys, we're going to urge everybody to work from home. We're going to really try to cut out, the necessity of everybody commuting to the job every day. Um, we're going to help people, plant gardens in their backyard. We're going to help communities start to grow their own food. We're going, here's the pathway to a much, lower emission society. Like, here's what it looks like. And I'm sure everybody would be like, hey, that sounds cool. Great. Down. I'm down. Right? Like, it wouldn't be that hard. Communicate that we might have to live in a different way. And I'm sure a lot of people would be so ready to accept that. But they're not going to do that. They're not going to. Why? Because COVID was something that was supposed to be temporary, right? They got everybody to lock down and do all this stuff. And they were like, hey, it's going to be for a little while. And, it's supposed to be a couple weeks. No, now it's a couple months. Okay, maybe a year or 6 months. And then, we have lockdowns on, lockdowns off, masks on, masks off. We had back and forth. But if you try to do a lockdown thing for climate change, like climate change doesn't end, right? Like when is the end of climate change? Like if you were saying like we're gonna impose restrictions on everybody for climate change, those things would go on for a long time. And imagine the destruction to the economy, the world economy, because of that. And nobody really wants that. Especially the people that are in charge. They don't want that. They don't want that. They're not ready for that. So I don't know. I don't know how you would get people to get on board with that unless you had a real, well crafted message. And if you were saying like, hey, this is, uh, we have to shift to another way of living, which I think a lot of people would say like, well, it's about time. Isn't it? It's about time. Whatever. Washington's border waters on the cusp of a major rise in oil tanker traffic. A significant increase in oil tanker traffic is in store for the Salish Sea with the completion of the Trans Mountain Pipeline expansion in British Columbia. The project triples the volume of Alberta crude oil the pipeline can carry to an export terminal in Burnaby near Vancouver, British Columbia. Triples. All right, tell me that they're going to lock everything down because of climate change and take away everybody's oil in their car, and I'll tell you, you don't know anything. You know nothing, and you should probably zip it. Like on this subject, you don't know what you're talking about. You have no idea, because if they're tripling the amount of oil they're trying to get out to people, it doesn't indicate that anything is going to lock down anytime soon. Now, are we going to have a economic crash? Sure. How long have they been predicting an economic crash? Long time. How long have they been trying to keep the economy going on duct tape and baling wire? Long time. And they're going to keep on trying. They're going to keep on trying to keep the economy going for a long time. Salt Laker says, what was it? 140 million days to slow the curve. That's good. That's good. I can't even see how many zeros that is. I'm saying, is it 14 million days or 104 million? It doesn't really matter. Creative Experiment says, I took advantage of work from home and haven't stepped in a cubicle for over 3 years and saved money and reduced carbon footprint. Hell yeah. Good for you. Oh, I mean, I loved it. my car sat parked for weeks at a time during COVID, and I was like, great. I was happy not to get in it. I was happy not to have to, go anywhere. I was happy to have an excuse not to have to go anywhere. It was awesome. Anyways. Chad says, I consider every day that I don't have to leave my small farm for anything a successful day indeed. Yeah. Hell yeah. But people are addicted to like, oh, I got to get out and drive. I got to get me onto a plane and go somewhere, right? Like people are super into that kind of stuff. Like if they're not doing that, they're not really living. That's what people call living. I'm going on a trip. I'm going out to do stuff. I'm getting in my car and I'm going to go do stuff. Like if they can't do shit like that, like they are super depressed. There's a lot of people like that. Cause we're addicted to the sound of the drum and the bass line. Anyways, the project triples the volume of Alberta crude oil the pipeline can carry to an export terminal in Burnaby, near Vancouver, British Columbia. The facility now sends out an average of 5 loaded tankers per month, and the expansion aims to raise the pace to 1 vessel per day. God dang it. That's not triple. That's 6 times the traffic now. 6 times. People want to climb Instagram Mountain every day. Yes, that's true too. 6 times. Holy shnikes. That's a lot of oil, yo. I mean, anyways, a lockdown in the name of climate change would be a much weirder thing to try to sell to people because there's kind of no end to that. So you couldn't even frame it as a lockdown. You'd have to frame it we're doing something different now, Anyways, which again, I might be okay with. Depends on what they are proposing. Anyways, they're gonna 6 times the amount of oil that they're shipping out. That's the plan. The plan is to have 6 times the tankers going out of this port loaded with oil. They want more planes, trains, and automobiles. That's the point of all of that. They want more people doing and buying stuff. That's the point of all of that. They want more. They're planning on more. There's no less. There's no. There isn't. There just isn't. You know? That's a lot of work. That's a lot of investment. That's a lot of like, you know, building and doing and making and, all that kind of stuff. Right? Some big players and the government are involved in facilitating 6 times the amount of oil going out of this port. And you're trying to tell me that the plan is to wreck the economy, destroy everything, and force everybody to stay home and take everything away from everybody. I mean, that might be somebody's plan. I'm not saying that somebody doesn't have that plan, but I mean, that plan has to compete with the actual real life scenario of the planet, which is like, this is happening not just in Canada, all over the planet, in India, in China, in Africa, in South America. They are building ports for more oil, more stuff, more goodies, more planes, more airports, nobody is planning on less stuff. Nobody. Absolutely nobody. So when people say shit like this, I'm like, you are a lunatic on some levels. I mean, nice guy or whatever, but you're kind of a lunatic because you don't actually see with your own eyes that they're planning for more stuff until the bitter end, until there can't be no mo. And whenever I hear this stuff, I'm just like, really? Okay. Are you sure? Okay. I mean, I don't want lockdowns and shit, but I don't want to be like, I don't want to be tracked and traced and facial recognition everywhere I go, and I don't want to have my, I don't want to necessarily have my carbon out, footprint tracked all day long and, have a social credit score. Hell no, I don't want any of that stuff. But the plan is for more. Like, period. The bottom line, the thing underneath all of the talking is that they're building, making, doing, shipping, creating more. That's the plan. That is the plan. When Elon Musk says, man, we better have some more babies. Why? Because that's the plan. More. That's the, Elon, it's funny because everybody's talking about a depopulation agenda. And at the same time, the same people say Elon Musk is controlled opposition for the people in charge. And he's out there saying, we got to have more babies. Why? Why is he saying that? Because the plan is for more. The bottom line, the plan is for more. More people, more stuff, more everything. That's the plan. And if they can control you, while they're doing that, if they can control your every movement and tax you on every movement, sure, I'm sure that's in the plan too. I'm sure that's in there too. Denver says, aren't tar sands already destroying the boreal forest and surrounding communities? What does 6 times current volume do? Neo-mercantilism, where countries like Canada and the USA are being sacrificed for. Yeah. If they can get everybody, hooked onto vaccines and prescription meds and that's what they want. They want more of everything. Did y'all watch anybody watch the book reading last night or listen? Yeah, tar sands. Also, the point about tar sands. Here's the point about tar sands, and people are saying like, "There's plenty of oil. Peak oil is a myth." Well, then why the f are they sucking up? Why the f are they like just absolutely tar sands? Fracking is one of the most destructive, crazy, just anti-environmental endeavors that humans have embarked on. Tar sands are horrible, and it's sucking the last, right? It's harder to get that oil. It costs a lot of money. The ROI or ROEI or whatever you want to call it is not good, right? It's almost 1-to-1, which doesn't make it profitable. It's a stupid thing to do if there's plenty of oil somewhere else, right? If you got lots of oil somewhere else, it's a dumb thing to do. So why would you do that if there's plenty of oil and the earth just recreates its own oil and there's lots of oil and peak oil is a myth and no, they're not. Okay. Then explain that one to me. If there's plenty of resources, why are we going to do deep sea mining? If there's plenty of resources for 8 billion people, why are we going to do deep sea mining? Explain these things to me. Jay Gibbons, do you mean by my better side is the one where I don't talk? Where I don't pontificate. Maybe that is my better side, but who knows? Yeah, creative experiments. Yeah, they actually burn more oil than they get back from the tar sand. Like, why would you do that? Unless it's just a way to. Unless it's just a way to. And this could be true. Unless it's a way to. Um, keep right. Like, have another reason to to burn the oil. Right, burn the oil to make more oil. I don't know. It just doesn't really make a lot of sense. Anyways, the plan is always for more. More. We're going to do asteroid mining next, right? We got to make more people because we're going to Mars. We got to there's more. It's just more. Here. Here's more proof of more. More and more. More of everything. The skyrocketing trajectory of fertilizer use. This is the world population from 3 billion to 8 billion. 3 billion to 8 billion. Almost tripling. The world population tripling. This is 1960 to 2020. In 60 years. Tripling in 60 years. Yeah, doesn't Elon have like 38 kids? No, I think it's like 10 or 11. I don't know. Tripling. And fertilizer use. Look at. Going up, up, up. Nitrogen, phosphate, potash. So if we ended fertilizer use, what do you think would happen to the population? Um, tornadoes in Saudi Arabia. There's major flooding in Saudi Arabia. Humates? What's humates? Well, is it the humates? Oh yeah, you're yeah. I know Denver. I know tar sands and fracking are different things. But they're both very energy intensive, right? Dragai, consequences must be ignored to facilitate ongoing instant gratification for the few who benefit in the hoax. Money is the mandatory religion to earn our existence. Money has ceased to be a measure of value and is simply a tool of manipulation and control. The God whose values destroy nature and feed inequality and toxification of our existential needs and deeds. Humates? What is humates? What is it? I don't know. All right, I'll look it up. Oh, humates provide for agriculture. Okay. They assist nitrogen fixation. Okay. Got it. Okay. Does everybody know? Or you want to know? Humates are composed of various forms of carbon that are most often derived from peat and coal. Humates are often misclassified as humic acid when in reality they are not an acid since their pH is above 7. Humates assist the nitrogen fixation process by feeding soil biology. For nitrosomonas, and nitrobacter bacteria to convert nitrogen fertilizers to nitrates, the most plant available form of on nitrogen, they need the proper level of carbon in the soil. Humates provide additional carbon to assist the process. Okay. Strangely worded. Uh, Denver says fracking seems like it was designed to poison groundwater. Might be why it was invented decades before it was ever used. Maybe. Maybe. All right. Um, Guys, if you like the show, if you appreciate the show being here for free every day, Monday through Friday, um, please consider supporting the show with a financial donation. There are lots of links in the description box. Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, and all that kind of good stuff. Um, Lots of you already donate, and I appreciate that. A couple folks on Patreon. and I appreciate y'all. So, anyways, yeah, that's that. Things are getting kind of crazy around the pro-Palestinian protests. A shelter-in-place order has been issued due to violent protests taking place at Virginia Commonwealth University, where riots are occurring. Currently, emergency officials have sent out a message instructing all students to shelter in place. This is from last night, I think. Yeah, last night. They ordered a shelter in place at Virginia Commonwealth University in Richmond due to violent clashes and riots that are occurring on the campus. With the Cabell Library building and nearby courtyard have been taken over by hundreds of pro-Palestinian protesters. Multiple reports of tear gas, flashbangs, and rubber bullets are being deployed by riot police as protesters hurl items like bottles, wooden boards, and other objects at the police. Well, how dare they? Something else going on here. It's not the same one. Columbia University, there are riots. This is also from last night. Protesters have just stormed and overtook the Hamilton Hall at Columbia University, sparking riot as they barricade inside and break windows. At this very moment, hundreds of students and pro-Palestinian protesters have just forcefully entered and are currently occupying Hamilton Hall, a prominent building situated at Columbia University in Manhattan, New York. They have shattered and broke windows and effectively barricaded themselves inside with tables, benches, and other furniture, seizing at least part of the campus building. The situation is rapidly evolving, with riots beginning to break out and further developments are unfolding. Update. This is again from last night. Students who have forcefully entered and are currently occupying Hamilton Hall at Columbia University have put out a Palestinian flag from the window as students occupying Hamilton Hall have hung a poster renaming the building to Heinz Hall, referring to a 5-year-old Palestinian girl, Hind Rajab, Hind Hall, Hind Rajab, who was killed by the Israeli military. Salt Laker says Columbus, and the word genocide. The kids don't get irony. Well, the students, again, are doing what we all should be doing, considering the state of things. But some people think that, the Democrats are good people and Joe Biden is, just a nice old man. So it's hard to actually protest something when you don't know that there's something to protest. If you think the people in charge are just nice people doing their best, then you really are lost in the sauce, I guess. Why don't they just ask nicely and politely to please stop genociding the babies? Yeah, maybe. Maybe that'll work. You all do remember that Joe Biden is in office at the moment, at the current, he is the president. Sure, there's people out there trying to pretzel logic their way into somehow this is Trump's fault. No, actually, it's not. I mean, he's all part of it. He's all for it. Trump is all for it. Actually, shoot. Where did I had something. Trump came out against the protesters. He came out against the protesters. Ooh, if you really want to know that it's two faces of the same coin. Trump is like, hey, no, that's not cool. All right. So I guess it doesn't matter whether Joe Biden or Donald Trump is in office. Same things. Are you got a pulse? This is wild. Some wild stuff. Where is that Trump post? I swear to God, I just saw it yesterday. I don't know that I saved it. Excuse me. I don't know that I'm going to find it. I'm not going to find it. Mike Johnson in a sailor's cap. Yeah. All right. Trying to play something for you. I'm trying. Just getting around to the end of the broadcast here, folks. But this is it's pretty significant happenings here. What do they call you if you're against assholes? Salt Lakers. They call you a racist, sexist, domestic terrorist. Robert O'Brien, Trump's national security advisor. Robert O'Brien, Trump's national security advisor, who will likely return to the next administration, says the student protests are not about Israel policy, but pure hatred of Jews. Wow. Mark Levin agrees and calls them Hitler Youth. Oh my God. Let's listen to this.
Is that it's okay to hate Jews, and there's something very wrong with our.
That's what they're trying to.
So if you're a student and you wear a kippah on campus, people are citing them with vile, horrible things at you. It's not about Israel policy. It's about rank anti-Semitism and hatred of Jews, and it's the oldest prejudice. And somehow that's become legitimate. That's become normalized, that it's okay to hate Jews.
You don't. So yeah. Okay. I want peace. I don't like war. Yeah. I don't like people being killed. Well, you're just full of hatred. That's what you are. I don't like people being, bombed indiscriminately and unalived or whatever. However, my mic volume is low. Oh shit. Why didn't you tell me? I've been doing the whole show like this. Y'all should have told me this like a long time ago. Shoot, sorry about that. Oh, now there's volume. Okay. Ah, I could kind of hear it, but it was low. You're right. Sorry about that. But it's so crazy. I'm really against people being killed and bombed and genocided and starved and blockaded and driven from their land. Well, that must be because you're full of hatred. Oh, really? It just changed when I played the last clip? Oh, maybe that's a StreamYard thing. No, but my volume really was down. You guys could hear me the whole show? Okay. I mean, I guess you could because you were acting as if you could hear me. So interesting. I never know. But it's wild. The things that they're saying, you know, you can tell. Yeah. No, it was low. It was turned down. So thanks for letting me know. I feel like I did the whole show with my mic really low. Uh, um, I, yeah. I mean, you can tell the desperation. When they really they when they really are very bothered by a particular thing that's happening when the rhetoric on the television starts getting like this, right? Equating the protesters with Hitler use, and that they just hate these people, just hate Jews. Man, there's a lot of people in the country who are against this. You're going to call it so everybody who's against this war and genocide is just a rank anti-Semite? I don't think so. You guys are lost. You guys are lost in the sauce. These people. But that's what they do, You got to run propaganda, even if it's just the most insane. You can tell what society we live in by the type of propaganda that we receive, which is just like, what? I don't. People on Twitter, thanks for tweeting, retweeting, and liking and stuff. Oh, there's one more bit of craziness before I get out of here. And this is a really good point from Revolutionary Blackout Network. No, I don't want to leave, you fools. No, I don't want to leave. Oh, I see what's happening. User error. Here we go. MSNBC is now comparing anti-genocide protesters occupying Hamilton Hall with January 6th. This is why I support all protests. Because if they get you to support demonizing a certain type, a certain brand of protester based on their political ideology or who they support or what it is that they're supporting, if they can get you to demonize those people, then they can just demonize anybody, right? So I support all protests, left, right, whatever it might be. I support people's right to protest, people's right to speech, etc. But this is interesting because it actually, his point is a good one. NBC is now comparing anti-genocide protesters occupying Hamilton Hall with January 6th. This is exactly why I told the fake Bernie left to stop pushing January 6th hysteria. And it was hysteria. Absolutely. It was clear they were setting a precedent that was definitely going to be used against the left. Exactly. Right? If you, and it happens every time. It happens every time. The boomerang comes back around really quick. Right? If they can get you to demonize somebody, or to say, oh, let's kick them off of Twitter because they're the bad people. They're the bads. Didn't that happen with the status quo? Right? If you support some people being shut down, you like almost immediately you will be shut down. Your point of view will be shut down. So it's like, it's not too many steps between you and the person that you want shut up because you don't like their views. You don't like their side. You don't like what they're talking about. Anyways, so that's what they're doing. They're saying these people are like January 6th protesters. And again, the rhetoric is wild. Really? I mean, are people really believing this? Are they expecting people to believe this? Because you're saying, right? The crazy Trump MAGA people who did the thing at the Capitol, and it was like, oh my God, right? You're saying these people are the same people, students. I mean, are you really, they're really expecting this to fly. I don't, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether you believe it or not. This is for them to exactly to generate, to manufacture the consent, right? What RBN is saying there, right? It's just all you got to do is just say things on the TV enough times for to get people to get to get the government or whoever to go like, oh well, people are talking about this really is a problem. If you can compare it to January 6th, that's a thin one for me, of course. I mean, it's not. I mean, so thin it's absolutely preposterous. But if you can do that on TV, it's just wild to me. You want to listen to it? It's crazy.
I'm reminded of January. Remote because the administration was so afraid of these people. I see these videos. I see these images of mass protesters breaking into buildings, barricading them with furniture. And look, I'm reminded of January the 6th. That's what this looks like to me. I mean, we talk at ADL about right-wing extremists, about masked Proud Boys showing up at school board meetings.
Creative experiments. Excellent. If it was January 6th, the guards would let them in the building. That's right. That's right. They would be, just stay within the velvet ropes, guys. Okay. You want to take a selfie? Cool. Yeah, that's hilarious. Anyways.
About Oath Keepers wearing masks. I look at this and this is what I see. And let's be clear about one thing. The students who are doing this, the groups behind it, SJP, Palestinian Youth Movement, their response to President Shafiq's offer last night was, Columbia will burn. I mean, these students, we shouldn't treat them like children when they're hardened activists.
No, they're adults. And
hardened activists.
So
what does that mean? Generally, the word hardened is used in conjunction with criminal. Hardened activists. They're just out there. These guys are like they're just, you know what I mean? They could do anything. They're hardened activists. They've been training. They've been training in their underground bunker. they've been getting directions from people. They're hardened activists. Okay. Man, that's rich. All right, guys. Thanks so much for your eyes, your ears, and your conscience. I'm going to make sure I didn't get any... see if I need to thank anybody before I get out of here. So we'll be back tomorrow, of course, at 11 a.m. What was I looking at? I don't know. We're back tomorrow at 11 a.m. You know, the usual time. And thank you all for being here. Thanks for your eyes, your ears, and your conscience, and thank you for the conversation. And until next time, peace.